Welcome to the Nitty Gritty.
We just got here.
We just got here 40 minutes ago. I think this is going to be a really fun episode based on our pre-podcast chat.
Pre-game.
/ for the first time in
Forever.
a long time, somebody brought us treats, which means you're already our favorite. And so Natalie Monson is here from Mapleton. I'm just kidding. So I looked at her Instagram finally, and I'm glad that I didn't do too much prep because I would have been nervous because she only has 340,000 followers. But she runs Super Healthy Kids. Prepared. That's your other Instagram account, right?
Pear, like the fruit.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
That's Pear for you morons that can't spell pear. And she's just really fun. I can tell this is going to be a good episode. So welcome.
Thanks
For coming. And thank you so much for the treats.
Especially the licorice.
Yeah, we got bruschetta, we got caramels, ginger snaps,
Jingle jangle.
a baguette, and the jingle jangle, baby. Which I'm excited about.
Keeping it. Yeah, you gotta have good
It's the
food.
holidays too, right?
It's the holidays.
Well, I'm
It's
paying you
the
back with
end
a
of
pile of meat
2020.
afterwards, so it'll be worth it. You can go home and take a nap, eat a big pile of turkey, tryptophan.
What about brisket? Let's talk about brisket.
That's my baby.
It's
See, I like her even more now. That was a test, and she passed. I threw out turkey, and she moved right to the good stuff. So thanks for coming.
Yeah,
there's a lot to
awesome.
talk about. I have a feeling. You are so how long have you been? So tell us about Super Healthy Kids. Just a little background for people that don't know.
Okay, so
My kids aren't. We got to work on that.
It's fine. You just start where you're at, right?
Right. Well, it's mostly my wife. Like, I can't really say anything because I don't have to deal with those little hellions all day long. But yeah, they have like 4 things that they eat.
How old are they?
Well, the 2 that I'm referring to.
Candy canes.
Yeah, candy canes. All the
And syrup.
They have sugar in it? Then yes. It's like, so 4 and 6 are the 2 that I'm referring to.
Okay.
But it's like
They got
all types of yogurt,
of time.
ramen, yogurt, ramen, yogurt, and a pancake once in a while. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And then every sugary whatever that they can get their hands on. But we locked the pantry now, so it's helping.
There you go.
So yeah, it's an
Perfect.
uphill climb. I'm sure you hear that a lot.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, I have 4 kids, so
You're in it.
I feel your pain literally.
So how did you get started with it?
Okay. So I'm a registered dietitian. That's what I went to school for, is nutrition. And so years ago, it's like 11 years ago, I met this lady who was in my neighborhood, and she'd started this blog, and she knew I was a dietitian. And so she was like, hey, I kind of want to start like a meal planning business, because if you scale it, things like that, like subscription services, you can scale, but you're not scaling your workload necessarily. And I was like, and I've always been both my husband and I have been a little entrepreneurial. He way more than me, but I always just like to sell stuff like on eBay and random stupid things. So I was like, okay, yeah.
Where does that come from? Do you have any idea?
Why?
Yeah. Were your parents entrepreneurs? Like, did you grow up seeing it, or?
Yeah, I guess my dad's an entrepreneur. So he owned, it's kind of funny, he owned McDonald's restaurants.
Whoa. How
for
cool is that?
years. Yeah.
Does he not do it anymore?
He sold all his franchises a few years ago.
Do you remember where they were?
So he had along the Wasatch Front. So Sandy and Draper. He had a couple down south too, and so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome.
So you grew up in the food business.
I grew up in the food business.
Okay.
But both my parents were always really health conscious.
So you didn't eat the McDonald's, is what you're saying?
Well, we did
Okay,
actually,
good.
kind of, but not that much.
Just
not
the-
as
just
much
the Egg
as you
McMuffins.
think.
If McDonald's breakfast were to leave this earth, it's true. It's not anything that special, but I think it's just a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
But there's just
And it was like a scarce resource because you could only get it to
Yeah.
10 whatever, and you'd go and you're like, no, I don't want a cheeseburger.
And they were like crazy. If it was like 10-1, they're like, no, we're not giving it
Oh
to
no,
you.
it was done.
Yep.
10:30, you guys. Okay, 10:30.
Sorry.
10:30.
Okay, so your dad had a bunch of
So
restaurants.
he's an entrepreneur.
Okay, for sure.
He's also a CPA. So it's like,
Perfect thing
Interesting.
to have for a franchise.
Yeah.
For franchise owners, franchisees, right?
yes.
Because the plan's already there. But being able
Gotta
to run the
execute.
money and execute it, like that's big.
Yeah.
How do you get into that? I mean, sorry.
How did he get into
Yeah.
it? So he worked for the Big Four,
Okay.
Big Five back in the day.
Yep.
And
Hold on.
he
In the accounting firms.
Oh, I didn't know there was a big four.
Yep.
I thought you were talking about like cars, like Ford, Chevy, Dodge.
Similar, but in the accounting world.
Okay.
similar but more like slave labor.
Yes.
And so he moved. They were living in Texas, and then they moved back here, and it's all kind of muddled. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm
But
curious.
he met his partner that he did it with, but his partner at the time owned it was like one of those sports stores,
Sporting goods stores.
not a sporting's good. It was like for NBA sports, like
Like fans, like
Yeah.
apparel.
yeah, one
Stuff
of
like
those.
that,
like
like
I think
Pro
they had
Image.
one in a Pro Image.
Yep.
That's
Pro
what it
Image was big back in the
They
day.
had
Yep.
one in the Delta Center.
Yeah,
right.
Miller
Uh-huh.
Group owned Pro Image, so
Yep.
the Millers owned Pro Image, and then it was Fans. I think it's Fans still, but I don't think they own it anymore. But yeah, I used to work at a Pro Image.
Oh, you did?
I worked at the one. So in high school, I worked at the one at the Park City Outlets.
Okay.
Yeah, that was way back in the day.
So, anyways, he was doing that, and there was some financial struggles or something. So he came in and they cleaned it up and got it successful, and then they started doing McDonald's franchises. I'm not exactly sure how.
That's
I
interesting.
wasn't born
Very
yet.
Interesting. That's cool. But because that's the thing, if you can get McDonald's franchises, I think obviously now everyone would want a Chick-fil-A franchise. That's probably because they actually pay for everything. But
Yeah, it's different. It's almost like a lease, whereas like
Yeah.
a McDonald's franchise, you own it.
Yeah.
right. Well, and if you build a McDonald's, it's going to succeed. Like, are there any that close ever?
I don't know. McDonald's big thing
Right.
too is like
Maybe
the
in, like, a Walmart.
like the real estate play. That was their big thing too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like owning the real estate where the restaurant was. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, total
Yeah.
sidetrack. So growing up with that, is that what made you want to like be like a dietitian, like study that kind of stuff?
I think maybe like just being around nutrition and healthy eating and stuff, like it was either between that or botany. And I
Okay.
figured,
Okay.
I know, so random, but I was like, well, if I want to be a mom, I don't think I can like go to rainforests and find medicinal plants
Right.
with my kids. So I'll just go this other route.
Okay.
That's funny.
So that makes a lot of sense.
That's very random.
I know.
Botany.
Or nutrition.
Isn't
Yeah.
that weird?
That's
But-
pretty funny.
So
But I get it.
Yeah. So
They
you get
kind of
going.
could go hand in
Yeah.
hand, right?
Plants,
Yeah.
the earth,
I agree.
vegetables.
Not a bad thing to know.
So I went into nutrition. So anyways, so my future partner was like, you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So we started this meal planning business. And so she had this blog, and she'd also created this plate based on, you guys know Choose My Plate?
Choose my plate.
Okay, I'm going to blow your
No.
minds. They don't use the food guide pyramid anymore.
What?
They have it for a long time. But anyway, yeah, Michelle Obama. Yeah. So she made this, it's like this whole nutrition thing. Choose My Plate. So it's way better than the food guide pyramid because it helps people understand nutrition better visually.
Nothing the government tells you is good. I mean, really.
It's true.
Look at the FDA. Like barbecue, right? Like this is what your
Yeah.
beef should be cooked to. They're
No.
telling you like 20 degrees too high
Really?
just because they don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, yeah, just don't listen to them, everybody. But pay your taxes.
Good advice. Good advice.
Okay, back to
Choose
my plate.
I actually think it's good.
Right.
I like Michelle. I'm a Michelle fan.
Okay.
Anyway, so we had this plate, and so we started this meal plan business, and I remember we launched it. This was like November, and she's like, I want to launch January 1st because,
Right.
And I was like,
Whoa.
holy crap. So we got it together and we launched it. And I remember we're driving to Idaho, and I just see like the memberships rolling in. People
Had you
were
ever meal planned
subscribing.
before with anything? Like outside of just like for your family?
I mean, like as a dietitian, you write meal plans all the time.
Sure.
So I knew how to do it.
So you were active in it then? Like
As far as
like being a dietitian, like actually doing it and helping people with stuff?
So I was working 2 other jobs at the time, and I had
Okay.
2 kids. So I had told her, I'm like,
Jeez.
how about I quit
So
my
you
other
had 3
jobs?
jobs.
Yeah. One was like an online job. And then one I was working with dialysis patients who have kidney failure.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to quit those jobs first, but we kind of had this time crunch. So
Yeah. 1 month.
yeah,
Right?
it was nuts. It was a little
See,
nuts.
I was totally confused. So I was thinking food pyramid. I didn't realize Choose My Plate was the updated. Like when I was making fun of food, I was making fun of the pyramid.
Oh,
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So
that
I
makes
apologize.
sense. It's all right.
Now I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is much better.
Isn't it?
Yep. I get it. Okay, so sorry. Back
So
in.
we just launched this, and it just started going really well.
How did you launch it?
Like as far as getting it out to people.
Yeah.
So we had an email list. We had Facebook. So
Did you already have like an audience or people? Like how did you already have that kind of
from the
stuff?
blog?
Okay, got it.
So, and at the time, I think we had like 9,000 Facebook followers.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
Or maybe a little
So
less
how
than
long had you been doing the blog up to this point? And it was all nutrition based stuff?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So this was 2009. No, 2010. This was 2010. And the blog started in 2008.
Okay.
So a couple years.
Okay.
But I hadn't really done a whole lot. And like, yeah. But I mean, still.
Okay.
How many businesses have we had featured in here that started in the blog space? A heavy majority, I would say.
Correct.
It's really interesting. There's something entrepreneurial about blogging, right? Like you've got something that you're passionate about, right?
You're really
Writing
talk
about
about it. Yeah.
Well, I think it's an easy way to build an audience.
Well,
And if you're going to sell a product,
you need to have.
you
an
have to have an audience,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of
Sure.
like the smart way to do it first.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many blogs have transitioned into just executing an idea, like
Yeah.
taking the blog to a business.
Right?
Because I don't know that people, do we still call it blogging? I know there's people that still write, like do write-ups and stuff about their product, but it kind of seems like, is blogging still a thing?
It is in the food world.
Okay.
Like people call them food blogs. That's totally still a thing.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I don't know about
Oh, that's really cool. It's interesting because when you said blog, I really do feel like a lot of the like really amazing companies we had in here, they just started because we have a lot of really successful female entrepreneurs on the show. And I mean, being a mom is the hardest job already in the world. So it's like, if you can be a mom and you're blogging, that hustle's kind of there. I almost feel like.
Oh yeah.
So it's just interesting to see how many of them, and I wonder what number of our guests have had blogs that
Well,
as their kids get a little older maybe or whatever.
my favorite thing too is it just shows like it can start with the blog, like a single post. Like you don't have to go out and have a business fan,
Sure,
a plan, and go to VC and go raise $1 million, and
Right.
you know what I mean. Like you can step into something, and it can turn into nothing. It can be awesome, or it can
Right.
turn into something absolutely incredible. I love seeing. It
I
starts
agree.
with publishing one post.
Yeah.
You know, like you
And
can trace that
actually-
back.
I mean, I think it's a way better way to do it. Because I've done both.
Okay.
Like we've raised VC money and stuff for Prepear.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And this might not be a popular opinion, but I think people who have a family shouldn't do that.
Shouldn't do the VC route.
It's actually a very popular opinion.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Okay.
I would agree. Like
I don't know.
organically.
I'm like,
building
I feel
something.
like I feel like kind of like. ugh.
Well, the restaurant space is the same thing. Like for every 10 restaurants that open, 2 of them will last.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people come in here like, what did you do? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
And all I tell them, like, listen, I barely graduated high school. Okay. Barely.
Graduated?
Yes, graduated. And so I said, but the number one mistake that restaurants make, at least the one-off like mom and pop, not the franchise, route, but is they think they have to have everything perfect right off the bat. So they borrow a bunch of money and they plan everything down to like the light fixtures. And then you just start in such a hole where it's like, just make good food, sell it in your driveway or sell it on Instagram, like just sell it in your neighborhood, just kind of slowly build it.
Totally.
And let your food do the time. So, I mean, I think you're right. I think it's a very popular opinion, at least amongst those that know it's a better route or are successful in their business.
And
right?
I guess it depends what kind of life you want.
That's what I was going to say. It ultimately depends on that. Like why are you doing the business? Is it more, I want to be the biggest, baddest? Because if that's your route, then you need the money.
Right.
If it's, I'm going to create a successful business to support my family, to help, then there's.
And enjoy life?
Correct. There's a lot of ways to do it without adding the unnecessary stress of an outside financial partner.
That's it, right? The pressure and the stress.
Well, and it's like speed too. It's not like, if you just want to grow a business, you can just grow your business and build and do. If you do startup world, you're
the answer to a lot of people.
Pressure. I mean, speed is the key. Like you're going fast, and I think
they want you to fail fast or succeed fast because they got to get on to the next business.
Yeah, totally.
Right, and so it's all about just churning.
Yep.
And they expect most to fail, and then a handful will pay for.
Failures.
They basically fund
Target
everything else.
Totally.
I thought I was talking about the side hustle again. Do you love Target?
Of course.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure you had a pulse. In Utah, you have to love Target.
It's the only store that South County doesn't have.
Really?
County.
South County. I was going to do a post the other day. I was sitting in front of Target in Orem. I was going to take a picture. I'm like, it's so cool that Orem finally has 2 temples finally. Target and the new one they're building. Would that have been sacrilegious? Okay.
Depends who you are.
That's right. Okay.
So you launched the food, the meal planning, and you're cruising to Idaho, and all of a sudden just memberships just start popping up. What were your expectations when you launched?
I don't think I had any. I was just like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Like maybe some people want a meal plan,
Yeah.
And it's just, it's the craziest feeling when you're like, what? Like
people want this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I'm selling things.
What year was this?
This
like
was
when you launched?
2010.
Okay. So that was kind of ahead of the curve, I feel like, with the meal planning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the meal planning is
There was Deals
really,
to Meals. You
there
guys
was what?
probably have no idea who that is.
Deals to Meals.
Deals to Meals. It was like,
Meals
and they
on
were
Wheels.
like in the newspaper. I mean, we're talking old school, but they were a big deal.
In the newspaper.
They were a big deal.
Okay.
Anyways, so it just really took off.
Okay.
And so from there, we just really started building all 3 parts of our business. So we grew our blog, and, people try to figure out all this social media strategy, but we rode the Facebook wave. Like we grew all of a sudden from, I'm not kidding, 10,000 followers to 1 million so fast.
And that was like pre-algorithm. Like that was just people could share the crap out of it.
I mean, it was insane.
Yeah,
like
you're at like 3.5 million people on Facebook.
Yeah. We grew real fast, and like it was so crazy. We'd post something on Facebook and it would shut our site down every time. Like it was, you just can't even imagine. It's such a different world now.
What do you think that would be equivalent to today? Like, do you think there's like a platform that does that today? Would it be like a TikTok kind of, maybe like
how you can just get a ton of
just
views
go
all
crazy
of a sudden?
viral?
Oh yeah,
it's TikTok.
Yeah.
Think of the guy skateboarding.
Yeah,
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
like he started. That was his first post. Like he had never posted before. His daughter just helped him, and oh my gosh. So yeah, I would
it's
say
totally TikTok,
right.
and it will end soon,
for sure.
It will.
You know.
Uh-huh.
And it's just crazy, So we rode that wave, and then we didn't start our Instagram account till like 2013.
Okay.
And then
Did either of you outside of blogging have like social media? Like how did you know what to do? Because I think that's the thing. A lot of people feel overwhelmed because like, I don't even know what to do. And they hear about all this algorithm and you need to do this and that. And it's almost like a, paralysis by analysis, and you just don't do anything.
Totally. And I think, there's things you should know.
Yeah.
But that, like, I remember people asking us all the time to like teach classes and all these things, like, how do you go on Facebook? What do you do? What are your strategies? And the truth is, you just got to put good content out there.
It's just consistency.
Yeah. And not only good content, but one thing that we tried to do is put shareable content out there. Like, for example, people want to share, oh, look at my kids eating vegetables with their friends. You want to know what they don't want to share?
Right.
Oh, my kids had lice. Or, like.
I know. I want to know about it.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, if your content is like, you're a cleaning company and you're putting things out there like, oh, we can help you with your lice. People don't want to share that with their friends. Like, that's gross or what? I don't know. So that's my best advice.
Okay.
I'm not a social media strategist, but if you can figure out the good content that your audience is looking for,
okay.
It's kind of how do I put this correctly? Like you see the amount of followers you have, right? And I think it speaks to exactly what you just said. You're not sitting down, like you're not giving us some scientific formula. Like you're just saying, just put good content on there and it will happen. And that's, I think a lot of people overthink it, right? They have to have I'm sure there are things you can do to kind of maximize, get it in front of the most people. But ultimately, like you say, just be real, be authentic, put good stuff on there,
Totally.
And it should grow organically.
And like it may not, right? Because the algorithm is a machine now. It's not like you can't really trick it.
Yeah.
In
You've
my
seen
opinion.
The Social Dilemma?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Andrew,
No.
No.
Okay.
I won't go down the rabbit
Really
hole.
quick.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Did you like it or not? Like, what do you think? Really quick. Because I can't not talk about it.
She's the guest. She's the boss.
She
Andrew.
is in charge.
Okay.
So
60 seconds.
No, totally fine.
I really liked it, but as I've talked through it with some people, there are some things that I really don't like now about it. I think the message was good. I think we all need to learn that stuff, but I didn't like the fear-based.
Oh.
Like the girl smashing the box with the sled, I thought that just made it too doom and gloom. And it does suck you right in, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I watched it twice.
Dramatization.
Yes. I didn't really like that side of it.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
what do you think?
Honestly, I am way anti fear-based messaging in general. Like, I'm in the parenting space, and nothing drives me more crazy than like.
Wait, what did you call it? The fear-based. Oh, fear-based. I thought you said fair-based. I was like, wait, what is that?
No.
Okay, yeah, fear-based.
Just
right.
Fear-based messaging in general,
For
right?
sure.
So I totally agree. But I actually liked some of the dramatization because it's like, all these things, right? If you've been in this world at all. I mean, I've known these things for years, but like watching it and seeing it that way, I'm like, oh, it just gave me a different way of looking at it.
I did kind of like the three guys, the same actor.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
That was kind of interesting just to kind of give you, because it's kind of like the movie, I always reference it and I always forget it. It's the cartoon. Is that, the memory clearing one. Man, thanks, Brent. You're so good. Yeah. Inside Out, right? It's like, it almost helps you understand how your brain functions and
totally.
works.
Totally.
So it was kind of like that. But you're right. It was very, very fear-mongering.
Yeah.
So my question to you, have you done anything differently because of it? Like, has it made you do anything differently?
I think the biggest change is I've changed more of my notifications.
Yep.
Right.
Because I don't want all my decisions to come from that.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's totally true. Like, we are not smart enough to outsmart a machine, right?
Oh, for sure.
And like that's what we want. Like it's just addictive to. You're like, yeah, I like this. I like this. I like
Right.
this. So for me, it's like this licorice. I can't buy it because I know I'll eat it. You know. So if I don't have that in my face, then I'm not on it as much.
Sure.
That was my biggest thing. And I thought it was interesting that they kind of tucked that right like after it was over. You know, they talked about what you do. Well, I just turn off my notifications.
Don't click on
And
things that it recommends,
you know,
which I still do all the time.
Take more control. So
It's just YouTube. Like,
I know.
look, it just saves me time. Whatever. Like I'm on there. It knows what I want to watch. It's hard. It's hard to say no.
It's so hard. But I don't think it's all bad, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's
a
part
lot of good
us-
that's coming from it. I mean,
100%.
your whole business, right, has been social media based, right?
I'd say most new businesses in the last 10 years that are succeeding, social media has played a big part in that.
I would agree.
And that's one thing, like I had a huge conflict after I watched that because I'm like, okay, if morally I feel like people should be on social media less, but my business depends on that for advertising, like what do you do?
Yeah.
You know? And
Isn't that a funny? We've talked about that before.
and Russ is like, here's the thing, like if you think about where your intentions are, my intention, like I'm not putting content on there to keep people more sucked into the machine, right? So you have to be where people are.
Yep.
And 20 years ago, people advertised where people were. And in 10 more years, you know, if social media goes away, we'll advertise there.
Sure.
So
as you kind of started with the business, it was growing. Was it kind of slow and consistent growth, or did something happen that kind of spiked, or like how did that go?
So it was slow and consistent growth until we exploded on Facebook.
Okay.
And then like our site traffic exploded, and then we just had more people. And so then our meal plan subscriptions exploded. And so we were able to sell more of our products too, like our plate business. So all of it was kind of based on that.
How long did it take before that happened? Like when did Facebook really start to take off?
I should like know all this.
I'm just
getting old. I like that's all like a blur.
I mean, was it like a month? Was it like a year?
No, it was like a year.
Okay.
I'd say it's about a year.
So it was consistent effort.
So like by 2011, 2012, Facebook was like totally exploding.
Okay.
So it took us way less time to get to 1 million followers than it did to 3 million.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And then it just like slowed way down.
Okay.
So
when this started, I want to know a little bit about you more like personally. How many kids did you have?
2.
2 at the time. And so had those like entrepreneurial juices started flowing yet, or did it just kind of happen and so you went with it? Like, were you thinking like, I need something?
Oh yeah. I mean, my whole life, like I was never the girl who's like, I want to have kids, I want to be a mom, you know?
Right.
And like growing up in Utah, I always felt a little weird because
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Right? No, for sure.
But I knew I always have had to have something else. And like, I liked being a mom, okay, but I loved working. Like, I loved it.
See, I love that that takes balls to say that. I thought that was, I think that's really, really cool that you can, because it is. We live in a place where it's like, hey, your number one calling is to be a mom and to raise kids and all that stuff. And it's just like, if you say anything different than that,
You're a flaming feminist.
Flaming feminist. You're going to hell. No, but I mean, it's true. Like, I think it's a really powerful thing to be able to admit, like, yeah, being a mom's pretty cool, but I love my business. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I just think the world needs all types of people.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I just have never been like the traditional stay-at-home mom. And I love that people are. Like, I don't think that world's bad either. Like, I'm actually so grateful that
Sure.
lots of people aren't like me, because it'd be suckier for my kids, you know? Like,
No, but it's funny that we still have to kind of like justify it, right?
oh, totally.
Like because they will learn so much from seeing, like, to say my mom's an entrepreneur, right? Like, owns her own successful business. She's a great mom. Like, I think it's a great thing for kids to see.
I do too.
So I don't think there's any wrong or right way to do,
every single person has their version of that, right?
Sure.
So some is full-time, some is no work, some is in the middle. And I think it's just being okay with like that with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
It's as opposed to looking left or looking right. It's like, okay, this is what feels good for me. I feel like I'm in good places, and so I'm just going to go with
There's
it.
1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Yeah. Like, what are your own skill
that?
sets?
Yeah.
See why I said that for you?
That was low. It's fine. I really don't even like cats or animals.
Sorry, she said she was getting a cat before we started, so I had to go there. I'm a dog person. But yeah. Anyway, so two kids.
So 2 kids.
And you just kind of had you needed something. You were ready to get going with something.
I was already, like, I was all in it. And so my husband Russ, he had 2 businesses also. Like, it was just
What
who
does he
we
do?
were. So, well, right now he works with me.
Boom.
Love it.
Yet again.
He works for me.
That's right.
That's the right word.
Language matters. Who told us language matters?
Stephanie.
Yeah, that's right. Very, very cool. So what was he doing at the time?
So he had a real estate business, and he was in the mortgage world. He was a loan officer, and he's done all that. And then he also, so he's a CPA, so he was working for BMW Finance at the time.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So.
CPA dad, CPA. Wow.
I know, right?
Yep.
Weird.
Like those people that
They're
like math.
smart. They know how to deal with the money.
Hey.
So all along.
Never a bad
A
thing
lot of
to have.
personality out of that crew.
Yeah.
He's crazy. He's crazier than I am. I'll tell you that much. But so we got to a point in our business, like, he was always helping, with the finance part, because.
Sure.
So we got to a point, and he was like, "All right, we're either going to do your business all in or my business all in," and my business just grew faster. It was just,
Sure.
So he quit his full-time job in 2016 and has been doing it with me ever since.
So cool.
It's a very attractive thing, isn't it, that he did that for you?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think it's pretty cool.
It was cool.
Were you
It
ever
was
worried about
also-
working together? Like how to separate, like, business partner, husband, father? Like, were you ever worried about that?
It works great.
It's true. He's way nicer than I am. Like, for real. You can ask anyone that knows us. He's way nicer. So that's actually, like, never been a problem for us.
Okay.
It's always been fine. Like, we've kind of, like,
Right.
I've done this and he's done this, and it just kind of worked out.
Yeah.
And he's a lot smarter than me, too. So a lot of things I'm like, sweet, let's do that.
It's like Susie and Todd. Hey girl, hey. My friend Susie. Like,
Oh,
Hey,
do you know
I
her?
love
He's a CPA.
them.
well, that's why I brought it up.
He
Like,
is?
He's
Yeah.
he's a CPA.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
always just kind
that.
of helped her off to the side.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where she's like, he was always their biggest fan. And he's a total sweetheart. Like, he is the nicest guy.
Yes.
And yeah, he quit
And
his
they
job
seem
and
to work
works
together
full-time.
really well.
They work
Yeah.
together very, very well.
Yeah.
So they're amazing. So I if it's anything like that, because everyone says the same thing about Todd. Like, Susie's very nice, but Todd is like another level of nice.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, he's just
Same
a
thing.
sweetheart. But anyway, very cool.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have an accountant that works for free.
Oh my
Right?
gosh.
That's
the
awesome.
Best. And he all the tax stuff and all the write-offs
sure.
and all the everything.
So when did you guys start to expand outside of meal plans? Did that happen pretty quick? Like, did you start introducing new products or new lines, or like, how did that all go?
So what actually really happened is in 2016, when Russ started working with us, he's like, okay, I have this idea. And we got to the point where we were making really good money. We'd hired a team, like, things were going well. And I kind of just wanted to chill for a little bit. Like, we just had our 4th kid. And I was like, okay, I'm good to just chill. And
So you had 2 more in your first, 5-6 years
Yeah.
of opening the business.
yeah,
Holy crap.
it was, if I didn't I wasn't a caffeine person at the time, and I look back, I'm like, what was wrong with me? I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy at night, like up late working. But so Russ is like, I have this crazy idea. So he wanted to build what is now Prepear.
Okay.
So he put together like a pitch deck and pitched it to us, and we're like, okay, like that sounds good. So he legit made me like sign a thing that said I wouldn't go back and say, no, I don't want to do this.
Did he really?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
For real. He was he knew. And it's a good thing he did.
What was he going to do with that? Sue you if you didn't?
I have no idea.
You're like, honey, you know I have all the power. You know I have all the power.
I know, right?
So this signing thing, like, if this makes you happy, whatever. But yeah, right.
I've never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I just was like,
Please.
okay, I will sign it.
Yeah.
She's like,
she
I'm
humored
committed.
him. She's like, here, hand me that crayon. I'll sign it.
So he, like, Prepear, we started as a startup.
Okay.
So we started taking investor money, and we hired like a dev team. And
So why would you go that route after like the success you had kind of growing organically the way you had done? Like, why? Just you wanted to try it, or
he wanted, I didn't really know anything about that world.
Okay.
Like nothing. But I was interested, like it sounded cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh yeah, like business, startup, growing, tech, like, and so, but I think he's always had that inside of him. Like he just had to try it, you know, like I told you he's crazy. So, I mean, like he's done some crazy crap in his life. So he's just wanted to do it. And I was like, let's do it.
I kind of want an example. Like, he's done some crazy crap in his life. Like,
Okay. So
what does that mean?
Here's a crazy story.
Okay.
So he loves to scuba dive.
Uh-huh.
So he went on this lobster diving trip with a friend, like off coast of California.
Uh-huh.
So you dive at night in these kelp forests.
Oh, I did that one time with a snorkel, and I still have nightmares about it.
It's pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Just doing that, right?
I was just on the top, like with 60
Yeah.
other people. It was our like middle school trip so I grew up in Southern California,
Oh, okay.
and we went to Catalina Island for our 7th grade trip, like overnight. Like that was back when school was cool, I guess, right? And we went they're like, okay, we're going to go snorkeling. It's pitch dark. And they just gave us all these little night light, the little glow stick things.
Oh, yeah.
And we're in kelp beds. I was like, a great white is going to come right out of these.
Oh, yeah. So you know
terrifying.
what I'm talking about.
Yes, but to be down in it. Okay, so anyways, go ahead.
So you just go out on these dive boats.
Right.
So you're supposed to dive with a buddy, right? And so his buddy, he's our good friend. He took off. And so Russ's light, one of them went out. And so he went to the top, got his backup light, and was looking for his dive buddy. And he sees these 2 lights. So he dives down, and it's these 2 other guys from the boat. And so this is funny. You said, I didn't think I was going to talk about this. I never would have thought I was going to tell this story. This is so weird. Anyway, so they dive for a little bit.
Right.
And his other light goes out. And he's like, crap. So he
Nope.
but he had another backup. So
Oh my gosh. He's a CPA.
he's a CPA
Total CPA.
with a wild side.
Right.
So he goes up to get his other light, and he like looks around, and he's like, what the heck? Where's the dive boat? And where's the stars? And like, what's going on? So he gets his light out, and he shines it, and they're in a cave.
Oh.
And he's like, how the heck did we get in here? So he goes and gets the other guys. He's like, I think we have a problem, guys. You need to come up. So they go up, they surface, and they're in a sea cave, and they have no idea how they got in there.
Oh my gosh.
So they're like, oh, well, we have this compass reading. We'll just go back out the way we came, like towards the boat. So they go down and do that. And it took them further in the cave. There's like all these fingers. Anyway, long story short.
I'm like stressing out right now thinking about
That gives me like major anxiety.
Yeah. So, and they were getting close to the end of their
Right.
dive. This is all true. Like, I'm not exaggerating this. So their air is low. So they're like freaking out. Like the kind of freak out where he's like, okay, I know you guys aren't religious, but you better start praying or else we are going to die. And so what they
Who's the dive company that dropped him somewhere near a damn multi-fingered cave in the sea?
right?
Like that's crazy.
Well, here's the crazy thing. That dive boat exploded last year. The same dive boat they were on. There was a fire and it exploded and everyone died. But anyway.
Wait,
so,
I think I remember hearing about that.
Legit. Yeah, that was the dive
Oh
boat.
my gosh.
Anyway, so what they decided to do is they each were going to take turns going down, exploring one of these fingers, seeing if it was the exit, and if it wasn't, coming back up. So they kept doing it, and they like couldn't find the exit. So they were freaking out. And so this one guy goes down, and he's gone for a while. And they're like, crap, like, should we go get him? Is he dead? Should we wait? And he finally comes back, and he's like, you guys, I found it. So he'd gone down, and the seal swam up to him.
A seal?
A seal
You
swam.
mean shark food?
Because there's seals there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I see seals, I'm like, don't get in the water. Seriously, that is where the sharks are.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Like, that is the reason sharks have become so bad in California, is because the seal population,
Oh.
like Cape Cod, same thing. Wherever the
I
seal
didn't know that.
population is growing, the great whites are migrating there. You see great whites off of California now all the time.
Well, this was like 12 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily, they didn't have that.
Holy crap.
So the seal swam up to him, turned around, showed him the exit. And so he came back and they got
Unreal.
out. Isn't that crazy?
It's like that little fox in Star Wars, that little crystal, or that little crystal fox or whatever. And then,
I've never seen a Star Wars.
oh my hell.
What?
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, right?
Anyway, so when you do stuff like that, starting a startup doesn't seem
It's
like
easy.
that crazy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, man,
Wrong.
I miss those spreadsheets.
It's freaking hard. Oh my gosh, guys. So anyway, and I'll tell you, okay.
So what is it even though? So what is Prepear?
Prepear. So what Prepear is it's a platform where bloggers can put their food bloggers can put their content on it and offer a subscription to their readers. So they can make digital cookbooks and meal plans and provide their recipes on there ad free. Because I don't know if you guys have ever cooked from a recipe online.
I cook from my heart.
Yeah. So
Just kidding.
you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
My
There's ads,
online
there's,
recipe is
like-
ordering food online.
Right.
Well,
Like online.
there you go. Perfect.
Like Chick-fil-A.
But like the way the internet is, people who put content out there make money with ads.
Absolutely.
So it's a pain as a user, right? So anyways, food bloggers can basically have like this side business on Prepear. And then on the consumer side, if you are a paying subscriber, you can do all your meal plans on there. It makes customized grocery lists. You can organize your recipes. It's just
you
like a cool platform for home cooks.
So you subscribe to the service as a whole, or to each like creator?
You can do both. So
Okay.
say like you love Hey Girl Hey.
Right.
She's on there.
Uh-huh.
So you subscribe to her. So then you get all her content. So all her meal plans, all her cookbooks, all her recipes. But then if you're like, well, I want everyone's, then you can sign up for Prepear Gold and then you can have it all.
So if you sign up for gold, you get all the content from everybody.
Yeah.
And then the content creators just get paid like per click, or how does that work?
So they get paid. So if someone signs up for Super Healthy Kids full access subscription. So it's $59 a year.
Right.
And so basically it's like an 80-20 cut. So they would get 80% of that. Prepear takes 20. And then we pay kind of like a CPM for recipe usage. So any paying subscriber that's using their recipes, because there's not ads on those recipes if for a paying subscriber, it's like a per recipe interaction.
Okay.
We pay those
That is smart.
content creators. So
Because especially because the whole recipe thing is crazy, online, just what gets seen, what doesn't get seen. So to have it just in an app,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Well, things are changing too in the advertising world with like the cookie crumble, and there's just a lot of ways the internet's changing. So we really wanted to have, the part of the reason we started this is because based on our experience, subscriptions are a great way to go for a food blogger. But also, it's like if you are depending on advertising or social media for your advertising or like, advertising dollars, you don't control any of that,
right.
And we saw that firsthand where we grew so big on Facebook and then all of a sudden Facebook's like, oh, and now we're going to not show your content to anybody.
One click and all of a sudden you're gone.
Yeah.
So
this is just another revenue stream for food bloggers while also giving like consumers a really great digital recipe experience.
Okay.
So that's what Prepear is.
Now, so does he run that and you run Super Healthy Kids, or do you both kind of overlap on both of them?
So right now, like we've kind of changed.
Yeah.
So 2019 was like a huge, that's where we like grew it and raised money and like it was hard.
Yeah.
Like real hard. And so the beginning of 2020, we kind of reorganized things just because we're like, we got to change our lives. Like this sucks.
Yeah.
And so I'm still heavily involved with Prepear, but he mostly runs that. And then I run Super Healthy Kids. So.
Okay.
wow.
Are we allowed to talk about the lawsuit with Prepear, with what happened?
You mean Apple?
Yeah. Are we
What?
Are we able to talk about that?
Let's talk about it.
You don't know about this.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Sounds juicy though.
So what happened?
Juicy. So Apple, okay, so when you register a trademark or like not a trademark. So if you for your logo and the name,
Right.
you have to register that, right?
Right.
And so
That's trademark, right?
Trademark
Or
and copyright.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I get confused. I told you I'm not the smart one.
You got to stop saying
That's
that.
not true.
It's very not true. Yeah.
I'm smart.
But
my
we
own way.
appreciate the humility. Well, you were smart enough to marry a CPA and put him to work for you.
Yeah. Right?
That takes some intelligence. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when you register it, there's like a waiting period where people can oppose the logo.
Right.
So the name Prepear got through, but the logo didn't, and it's like forever. So the day before it was supposed to close, Apple came in. Like Apple, right?
Like
$1 trillion Apple.
iPhone, Apple.
Like the phone I'm going to get rid of after this story.
No. We're not the cancel culture.
Listen,
I have an iPhone and I love my iPhone.
we're not cancel culture.
And Russ gives me crap and I'm like, look, I don't care.
You like Android?
I like Apple.
No, I like Apple too.
But anyway, so they came in and opposed it the day before. And so basically what that means is you either like it's just a bullying move.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not the first company. They've done it to
They probably do it to
dozens.
every day. They literally probably do it every day.
Oh, and here's the thing, you guys. You would die at these companies they're doing it to. Like there's this other cute little lady who runs in, like her whole company is to help train police so they don't kill autistic kids. It's like a nonprofit. And we'd been going through all this and she reached out to us just like crying because their lawyers were bullying her. And we're like, it's just weird. It's just like totally shystery.
Well, because this made like national news. Like I remember like when it was going down, like it was everywhere.
Well, we intentionally, so they came after us and a lot of companies just fold. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll change our logo, whatever. And we were like, heck no. Like we are fighting this. This is wrong. And I don't care if we're like a little ant compared to you. Like we're fighting you because we knew we will win. Like for sure. What they're doing is totally like they won't win, but they don't care.
Right.
So they're just going to extend this as long as they can to try to make it
They're going to bleed you out.
so expensive for us. So anyway, I forgot what you were saying.
Apple copyright.
So they just
lawsuit.
came in like, so what happened? Like, so they challenged it.
Oh, yeah. So we said, no, we're going to fight it.
And they just challenged the look of it, right?
Oh,
Because
I
your
know what you're
hair
saying.
looked like an apple.
Yeah. So they're saying the pear is too close to the apple. So what we did is we started a campaign. We started a
Petition.
Yes. So we were like, okay, let's start this petition and just see where it goes. So like the first day I was like texting all my friends and family and like, hey, will you guys sign this petition? And just trying to get it out there.
Yep.
And then we put it out to our own audience and then it just like exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, exploded. Like it was on the homepage of like Apple News and like it was like everywhere.
I remember. I mean, I started seeing it. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
How in the hell? I mean, do you look at that and go, oh, she can't use fruit? Like, we're the fruit people. Like,
right?
That's crazy.
I know.
Like, just.
Oh, yeah. It's totally nuts. It's frivolous. It's just totally frivolous. But anyway.
This right now. I was going straight to hell.
Anyway, so we're still in the middle of it, and it's just going to take, like, honestly, it'll probably not end till 2022. So.
Oh, yeah. No, it'll take forever.
Yeah, it'll take forever.
Has it had any impact on business?
Yes.
Positive?
Oh, yes. It's crazy.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
So
no publicity is bad publicity.
Exactly.
Right.
I
And
mean,
underdog story. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah.
And people love,
Right.
like, they were so emotional about it. Like, we had the BBC calling us, like, hello, can I interview you? And I was like,
Wait, what did they say?
like, these guys, like, and I was like so intimidated. I'm like, hi, I'm Natalie from Utah. They're like these huge companies worldwide. It was cool. But
Have you hired like a publicist or anything to help you with this stuff? Like, for real?
no.
Probably wouldn't be a bad
We should, right? I mean, yeah, like, I guess because we know enough about content and stuff that we're like, let's just put it out there. And anyway, but we've gotten a ton of signups, a ton of traffic. And like, it's funny, you should see the reviews. Like, we got way up in the app store because people are like just leaving reviews because they're like, your app's cool, but we hate Apple. Blah, blah, blah.
They were typing that from their iPhones probably.
On
Seriously?
iTunes?
Yeah.
So we have all these 5-star reviews and it's like just profanity.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. It's just so interesting that there's a whole department that probably does that at Apple. Aren't they the single richest or the most valuable company in the world right now?
Yeah.
Like, they finally took over the oil giants, right?
I mean, they have literally a team of lawyers that just does this.
Oh, I get, for sure.
Yeah.
I bet they have lawyers in 100 different departments.
I think they have just enough cash to like buy all of the S&P 500.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it's bananas.
It's bananas. And so that's the thing, like, our petition, I mean, I think there's like 300,000 signatures on it or something. Like, it's a lot. And it was a big deal. Apple could care less, you know? They could care less. It doesn't matter.
It's sad when you get to the size where, like, people don't matter anymore, right? Because they just know they can get away with it. Like, people like us, we still are going to love our iPhones, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
One thing that has come of this, though, so we joined this coalition with some of the other big players. Like, there's Spotify and there's like 5 other companies. They're all like huge and big. And then they let us in because they wanted someone to look like the good guys on their team, you know? Because we're like this teeny company that has like done nothing bad, but Apple's coming after us. And so we joined this coalition with them. And now I really think it has had an impact on decreasing the fees, the Apple Store fees, because they're moving towards now 15%, which is it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I think that's part of the reason we really wanted to do it is like, yeah, they don't care about our petition. They don't care about this. But like the more people come forward to stop things like this, like eventually I think it will make a difference.
For sure.
So
That's really interesting.
Anyway.
So the coalition is mostly there to stop these fee increases?
Yeah. So like Epic Games.
Right.
They're part of it. And like all these companies who have
Those
to
are like
be on the App Store.
Big old boys.
So how does that work?
Yeah.
You pay
Russ has meetings with them and I'm like, whoa.
you pay like per download, or like what's the fee structure for having an app in the Apple Store?
So like if you, so you basically pay 30%. So whenever someone buys our subscription, we're paying 30% of the sale
And they
to
want to
Apple.
bump it to 45.
No, they're decreasing it to 15.
Oh, okay. I'm confused. And that hurts you?
No, it's good.
Oh, okay. And that's happening because, so that's what I didn't understand. 'Cause I don't think most people are thinking of it in the, entrepreneur, like I own the app scenario.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Like me, when I hear that, I just think like what things cost.
Oh,
But
like
it's the
for
cost
the consumer.
of operating an app.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
you're a business that has an app on the App Store,
Right.
you pay this 30% fee to Apple.
Gotcha. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's steep.
Yeah.
Just to have it on. It's not like they do anything, right? They just have it on there.
Yeah. I mean, like they host, it's
Sure.
They provide
Sure.
the audience, that kind of stuff. So
yeah. And they make sure
that's the
there's
idea behind it.
Yeah. So that consumers aren't paying for total crap.
Sure.
I guess.
But 30% still seems,
It's a lot.
that's a lot for sure.
Yeah.
Especially
And
if you have
there's-
like a little free app on there,
Totally.
right? Or something like that. But
Yeah.
interesting.
There's a lot of shady stuff going down.
Well, it's because they're not creative anymore. They haven't had a new product. So they got to milk fees wherever they can.
Well, and these huge
We need
companies,
Steve
it just
back.
becomes a monopoly, right? Like
Right.
they can just, So anyway,
That's just crazy that they can. I mean, for those of you listening, if you haven't looked at the logo, I mean, all you have to do is type in Apple and prepared, lawsuit. First thing I clicked on. It is, it literally is the only basis of it is fruit. That's the
Right?
only thing I can see.
right?
Totally different color, totally different shape. You should seriously add a bite out of the apple now just to make it worth
The
it.
pear.
Yeah, or out of the pear, yeah. Add a bite out of the
Well,
pear,
I mean, so
but from the left side.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do this because I thought it was funny. So I showed my 4-year-old the
Right.
pear, and I'm like, "Hey, what's this?" He's like, "A pear." And then I'm like, "Or no, I showed him the apple first. I'm like, "What's this?" He's like, "A apple." And then I showed him the pear. I'm like, "What's this?" And he's like, "A avocado." Like a 4-year-old can tell they're totally different.
I mean, I guess it's the color of the inside of an avocado, but if you got rid of the leaf, maybe I could see why he thought that, but it's a pear.
He
for
didn't
sure.
say apple.
That's right. Oh, that is so funny to me.
So is it something that,
So it's been good for us overall. Like it'll cost us some money, like
For
a
sure.
ton of money in lawyers' fees, but
does it take up much time at this point? No, because at this stage, it's more just like responding to things, waiting 6 months for a response from
Yeah.
them.
it
You know.
did. So when you go through something like this, they basically can ask for whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to give them every single conversation, document, like anything in writing that had ever been talked about with our logo.
Okay.
So that takes a lot of time
For sure.
Right.
to dig through.
Jeez.
So then we're like, okay, you want to play this game? Well, we're going to ask you for the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's a crap ton more stuff for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Huh.
Wow.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on that. Hopefully it drags out longer, that the legal fees and business continues to go up.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's cool that you're fighting them because you're right. Like a lot of people, I'm sure they would just, it's like, it's Apple. What am I going to do?
But at the same time, it's
Did they
like,
say what they wanted you to do? Like, did they give any?
No.
Or is it just like, no?
Well, like in discussions, we're like, okay, if we were to change our logo,
Yeah.
what would satisfy you? Because
Yeah.
like, how can we,
Right.
And they're like, well, you need to move the leaf a little bit. Like it was like so vague. And that's when we're like, no, we're not going to do this because say like we do that. First of all, anywhere we ever have had our logo, we have to go back and find, and we're a small team. Like
Right.
this is costing us not only money, but a ton of freaking time where we just need to be building stuff.
Yep.
And so, and then second, if in the end they like we did that and we missed a spot or whatever, then they can come back and like actually sue us. So to us, we're like, that is not, there's no win-win here,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
So if you look back at the cases, anyone who's fought them in a case like this has won every single time.
Right.
Okay.
And like our logo has already been approved by the trademark people. Like
Yeah.
they already like, yeah, it's good. And so there's just not much. They're
Okay.
just going to keep dragging it out. So we'll win. We'll let you know
I'm
when we
reading right
do.
now, it says it is extremely unlikely that Apple will win this.
Yeah.
They don't have a service like this. They haven't lost money because of it. Their logos are totally different fruit.
Not in the same business.
It's just sad.
We're not walking into the Apple store
Yeah.
seeing if people want to buy a meal plan subscription. Like,
Like, it's a really strange, it's sad when you hear stories like this because it's just, there's still human beings behind it, right?
Yeah.
There's some asshole sitting in Palo Alto or wherever the hell they are that just, it's probably just job security for that person. It's like, hey, the more of these I can drum up, the more money I get paid.
oh yeah,
They're not paying attention. They don't
their
care.
lawyers. So they contract outside. I hope I can say this. Anyway, their lawyers make a lot of money. They get
for
paid
sure.
by the hour, and so of course they're gonna want to just drag this on, get more information. You know,
Right.
It's
Just stay busy.
Yeah.
Stay paid. But that's just
sure.
a really sad thing. Like
Yeah.
I would think a company like that, man, it's,
seems like a waste of resources.
yeah, and like let's help everybody, right? Like you've got it all, right? So use that to help other people
Yeah.
create businesses.
Yeah.
And what's funny is you're probably using all their products to build your business,
Totally.
and they're suing you for using a fruit in your logo.
Yeah. Every one of our developers has a Mac.
Yeah.
Like,
That's crazy. Like that's the stuff that you hear that you just
except for us.
it makes you lose hope a little bit in human beings. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's
Don't
just
lose hope.
Californians. So
Just put that
Just a
iPhone
seed
back in
already.
your pocket. Let it feel good in there.
it doesn't feel good.
Okay.
Gosh, I even added the magnetic wallet thing, which is pretty cool, by the way. But I don't like it anymore. So I'm sorry that you're going through that. But I think
alright.
it's very, very ballsy that you guys are standing up to him.
I think it's
Thanks.
awesome.
So I'll cater the next lawyer meeting for you if you need to. I'll donate some food to the cause.
You're the best.
Yeah. I want to help.
So I want to know, so if you're on Super Healthy Kids, you guys now do a lot more than just meal plans. I mean, you guys are into parenting stuff and meal planning, but all sorts of stuff. Like, is that
Yeah.
just kind of been a natural progression, or have you guys like intentionally wanted to expand what it is that you do? And where are you going with it? Like, what gets you excited about it?
So, yeah, because this is something I've been asking myself too. I guess for me, like my passion, I just really believe in making the next generation better. And so it's important to me to teach my kids things where they can take those and be successful in the next generation. So that's kind of my goal with Super Healthy Kids, is like helping kids develop habits while they're at home and their parents have influence, that they can take those and live a better life, like live a healthier life in lots of ways, right? Because health is food, but I mean,
It's a lot of things.
it's a lot of things.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I've expanded, because that's where my interests are, just in general. Like
sure.
I love food and I love nutrition, but I also think about like tech, right?
Sure.
Like that influences our kids as much as food does, or just lots of different things.
Well, they're probably way more connected than we think. I mean, with the advertising and everything else, like when they're on a cell phone, I mean, it's got to be all connected. Have you noticed a difference in your business during the pandemic? Like kids being at home, like are you seeing more questions about it? More?
Yeah. So it's really interesting because when the pandemic, like when it very first started, our usage, like our app usage, went way, way up.
Yeah.
But all the money coming in went way down.
Interesting.
Okay.
Because advertisers, like the advertising dollars, just weren't there anymore.
Yeah.
Because like if you think about who's advertising, like no one was going to the movie theater, no one was traveling, no one was doing all these things, but people were cooking at home way more.
For sure.
So yeah, it's been interesting. But now it's kind of like leveled out.
It's amazing. Pretty much everything that you like, Orson Geeky said the same thing, right? Like just selling stuff like crazy just because people are getting into cooking at home.
Yeah.
Like that's why I was asking. Even the meal planning, I would imagine just the recipe. I would imagine the recipe traffic in general has gone through the roof.
Oh yeah, through the roof.
Especially sourdough recipes.
Becomes such
That thing,
Right?
that was such a thing. What? Like, how did that happen? Toilet paper and sourdough.
That's
like,
so funny.
The defining products of the 2020 coronavirus.
Have you guys had to pivot at all with the pandemic, or has it just kind of been continue to do what you've been doing and just execute?
I mean, so we laid some people off in the beginning of the year, and I think more than like a business plan pivot, it's been more of a personal pivot where now we're like, we don't need to be a Pinterest. We don't need to be a $1 billion company. Like we want to just be like presence, like let's enjoy life and grow this and have a great business, but not like the so
that's hard to balance too. I mean, I get asked that question a lot about the restaurant. Like, why don't you open more? Yeah. It's like, well, I'd rather I want to enjoy it still. I want to still be passionate about the product that I'm putting out there.
Yeah.
And I just don't want, at least for me, I just don't want the extra work or pressure. So, because it's hard to balance that, right?
It's hard to balance it, but I feel like once you can know that for yourself, it's not
huge.
that hard.
No.
And a lot of people can't understand, like, well, don't you want to make more money? And you're like, not really.
No.
I mean,
there's a lot.
Sure,
there's a lot
there's
of
a cost to
diminishing
that.
returns, right? Like
exactly.
like
Totally.
it only gets to a certain level, and it's just like, meh.
then what are you working for?
Yeah.
Like
Amen.
why?
Because I mean, especially in the, that VC space, you have to start raising extra rounds of money, and it's not that you make more. You have this bigger business with more problems and more, all this stuff that goes with it, but ultimately, and there are some people that their whole motivation is to have that multi-billion-dollar business, and so they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming more popular, and the whole term, like the lifestyle entrepreneur, right? So you're starting the business for a certain lifestyle as opposed to like a certain business type.
Right.
And so I think that's becoming more popular, which I think is really cool.
I hope so.
I mean, that's kind of where it's unintentional, but that's me. Like I like being able to just go home when I want to go home, and
Amen.
you know what I mean? And so it's hard. And growing doesn't necessarily mean more money, like you said. I mean, it costs. I had a second restaurant in Spanish Fork, and I think I was writing a $10,000 check a month from here to cover there. And so I actually got a raise when I closed that place. Or at least was up. It was great.
Well,
and so yeah.
Employees are expensive.
Yeah.
And that. And they're getting, it feels like they're getting harder and harder to find.
Oh, especially in your line of business.
Oh,
I mean,
good night.
to find a good developer, good luck.
Yeah. I'll
It's
bet.
crazy. So.
Or somebody that actually wants to have a job as a kid.
They all want it.
Right.
They just don't want to do anything for it.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. You're right. They don't. They just want the easy, cool kid jobs.
Yeah.
Like I'm at night. Whenever I go to Nike, I'm like, where do they find these people? Like In-N-Out even. Like In-N-Out has some. I don't know what they do. I mean, I know they pay good. I pay really good. Maybe they do benefits, but they always have so many like really good, hardworking younger people.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A. I mean, Chick-fil-A. I feel like I understand it a little bit.
Chick-fil-A needs to run the world.
I think the company is run so well. But yeah, I'm always impressed with In-N-Out too, because I'm like, they're finding college kids, and look at them, they're working their asses off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they are moving, and so anyway, it's just hard. It's harder now for some reason.
It is hard.
How many people do you employ here in the state? Or
So we right now only have 5.
oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
We've cut down a lot.
right.
2020 was actually a really great year.
Well,
That's the thing. A lot
it's
of
a
people,
blessing, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have changed and learned a lot that hopefully will have a positive impact for a long time to
Yes.
come. Right. It forced us all to make decisions, which ultimately is progress,
Totally.
you know?
Totally.
Absolutely right. Yeah, if you don't need the extra, I mean, it's true. We have a tendency, labor is a really hard thing for most businesses. And and you have the personal, the human element to it too, where it's like, it's really hard to let someone go.
Oh my gosh.
It's been loyal and
it's one of the hardest things I've ever
But when you
done.
have a pandemic, like when it gets to the point where it's like, look, if you want to stick around, like it's the business or them, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting though to see if it sticks. Right? Like, are people going to go back to the way they did it before when it's okay to do that? Or are things going to change? We hear that overused term, new normal, right? Like, I hate it too.
I do
Like,
too.
it's such a depressing term to me. Just like, no, I wanted the way that it was. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if people kind of revert back to their bad
so
habits.
curious to see if it's like, after the Depression, like World War II, and everyone just like went crazy. I kind of hope it's like that.
Yeah.
Like we're all just like hugging and traveling.
I say that's
and,
a baby boom, isn't it? Isn't that when the babies were made?
Yes, I
Tons
bet
of
that
them.
will happen.
But
I don't know.
our roads are getting slower and more dangerous because of the baby boom.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. There's a lot of old drivers out there right now, and they drive slow in the left lane.
So anything fun and exciting on the docket for 2021?
Let's see. I mean, it's really going to sound boring, but like, because we had all this time where we're like, oh, this feature, build this feature, like it has to be like this. And now we've kind of figured out like what our moneymaker is.
Yep.
And
You know which levers to pull.
yeah. And that's what 2021 is
Profit.
doing that. Yeah.
Shaking the moneymaker.
And it's hard to do that.
Yeah. Oh,
Because it's not exciting, and you're like, oh, but I really want that. I really want to build that. And
That's
Russ
funny.
keeps
It's
being
true.
like, no, this is what makes money. This is what we will do.
well, and you work hard to get to that point, right? You
You
invest
do.
money, and it's like once you have the data and you know what works,
It's
Yeah.
funny. It really isn't as fun though.
it isn't as fun.
No.
Like as an
100%.
entrepreneur, like it's not as fun just to make money. Like it's like the fun is like in
know.
creating the idea and building, and and honestly, I think that's what differentiates like the successful businesses is their ability to execute those items,
Yeah,
right? Because
Absolutely
it's
right.
true.
that's what keeps you around. That's what gives you permission then to, chase other shiny objects because you have this machine that's just kind of
Yeah.
working.
Have you read Atomic Habits, either of you?
One of my favorite books.
Well, that's
I've listened to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm a listener. So they talk about in there, that's what like makes the great athletes is their ability to like deal with the boredom, right?
Yeah, your goal is not like
The
to run a
monotony.
marathon. Your goal is to become a runner.
Yeah.
Like the goal is to fall in love with the process, not the outcome.
Yep.
It's all about the journey.
Joys in the
You
journey,
guys.
Cam.
I'm
So-
gonna write that down.
Yeah,
I've
you should.
never heard
Here,
that before.
I'll text it to you.
Okay.
Since we're friends now. There's one personality trait that keeps kind of surfacing with me about you, and I want to ask about it. Like how many brothers and sisters did you grow up with? Like, and where did you fit in that whole?
Okay, well, first, I just really want you to guess what my birth order is.
Like where you're at?
Yeah, I have siblings. I just want to know what you think, and I will not get offended. I don't get offended.
See, I'm going to say youngest.
You're on the spot. now.
Youngest. Okay. So I have 2 brothers and a sister, and I'm the oldest.
You're
I'm so
youngest or
surprised.
here's
I'm
the thing.
so bossy.
But see, I don't see that with you. The one thing that I keep, and obviously we don't know each other that well, right? 2
Yet,
hours,
yet.
sharing some ginger snaps. But you seem like a very calm person, considering you're being sued by the largest company in the world, and you have a smile on your face. Like you just seem like a very like, but you know what you want. Like oldest would have been my next. I'm the oldest of 5.
Oh.
But sometimes I've noticed with the baby that they're just more chill.
Yeah.
Like my youngest brother is very, very calm. I guess you're the oldest and you're really chill. But I don't know. It's just kind of cool that I really appreciate from what I've seen so far that you don't seem to let that stuff affect you negatively.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. But maybe you are bossy and I just haven't seen it yet. You don't seem like a bossy person.
I'm way bossy in my
Really?
house.
Well, at your house, that's a little different.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, you seem very nice to me. And I guess bossy people can be nice.
They just know
As
what
long
they
as they're
want.
getting their way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I do love people. I love
Well,
people.
I can tell that.
I'm an extra, like, this has been so hard for me, this COVID,
Right. Oh, for sure.
you know?
No hugging.
Just no
I
physical.
really hate no hugging.
I almost hugged Andrew.
We're hugging you on the way out. You're getting
I never
hugged.
know how to, like, that's probably the most awkward thing of the podcast. Like, you meet someone the first time, it's like, it used to be just like a
Hug.
big hug. What's going on? And now
I'm
it's
a
like,
hugger.
I don't know if I shake your hand. I don't know if it's a fist bump. I
Right?
don't know if I
Like
bow.
elbow.
I
I've
don't
been
know
chest
if I-
bumping. Chest bumping is kind of my new, it's safe. Keep your head back.
I kind of just like the Eskimo kiss. That's
Yeah.
my favorite. Get in here.
Well,
Oh, wow.
people can find you where? All over the place.
Yes. Instagram.
Okay.
I really like Instagram.
Are you on there yourself personally?
Yeah. It's
You are?
me.
I followed her.
Both.
She hasn't said yes yet. No. It's private.
My personal account's private.
Yeah.
That's
She
where I
hasn't,
post
so-
the juicy
So
stuff.
I requested.
So Instagram it's Super Healthy Kids,
Uh-huh.
right? And then superhealthykids.com.
Yep.
And then does your Prepair, does it have its own Instagram? Or is it does?
It's Prepear app.
Okay, there you go. And then Prepair.com.
What's the
Yes.
can I ask you one quick question about the meal planning? Like, what's
Yeah.
the number one thing, just to moms, right, that haven't visited this? Like, what's the number one thing that you think people can benefit from with your program
Yeah.
right now?
So, okay. I am a huge believer in meal planning because before we started, Andrew, you were talking about like delegating things.
Mm-hmm.
To me, meal planning is like delegating your brain space, right? Because if you're a mom or a dad, whoever's in charge of cooking and you have kids, you're like, okay, I have to make dinner.
Right.
And so if you can just have this thing that like tells you what you're going to make, it's best.
Wow,
Because like
Jenna's
most-
always
so
said
much
that.
stress.
She's
Yeah.
like, our first thing if we ever become rich is going to be have someone who grocery shops and makes like, because she enjoys cooking.
yeah.
She just doesn't enjoy thinking of what to cook.
And most people
100%.
like the cooking. But like if she asks you, what should we have for dinner? You're probably like, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, I don't know either. Crap.
She's like, don't make me decide that. I'm like, well, I don't want to think about that.
And then-
Yeah.
And if you ask your kids, mac and cheese,
Uh-huh.
you're like, no, I don't know.
Yes. So, and that kind of lays that out for you. It's not just getting on there and searching what you want to learn how to cook. I imagine your program, it's
Yeah.
like, here's your week. Like you kind of,
Totally. And the cool thing too, which is why we built Prepear, is because most people don't want to just eat one kind of food forever, right?
sure.
So I have a meal plan. People like my recipes, but they don't want to eat only my recipes. Like they want
Right.
to eat Cam's Bam Bam recipes.
Yes,
and they
you
want to
do.
eat their grandma's recipes. and
Open
they,
till 9.
yeah.
Come on over.
So actually I hadn't
So
even
you
thought
can
about
do
that.
that.
So I can just like sign up and then it'll automatically like populate for the next week if I'm following someone.
That's what I was interested in. Like, do you put
Yeah.
like things that
So-
you like and then it builds
Yeah.
it off of that?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, right now the way we have it set up is like a blogger has their meal plan.
Yeah.
They can make as many as they want. So, say like someone's making a healthy New Year's meal plan or a weeknight barbecue or whatever. And then it's made for you and you're like, "Oh, well, actually on Wednesday nights we really like to eat salad." So then you can
Said no
swap
one
it out.
ever. Just kidding.
So you can change it out. You can use your recipes. You can use
Wait, so is there like a playlist type of thing too, where it's like you can take somebody else's, like, here's a meal plan I made last month that I love it. Check it out. Can you share that?
Yeah. So
That's
you can
brilliant.
save meal plans that you've created and you could share them with your friends.
Oh no! What? See,
yeah.
a lot of this, I shouldn't say this, dang it, because of the dickhead lawsuits. But Apple Music, It's just something that I use it, right? But it's like you pick your favorites and then you have like what your friends are listening to.
Yeah.
And you can kind of share it. Like, it's really brilliant, actually.
Yeah. Did you know Spotify does the same thing?
Yeah. I'm going to switch to them. They're in the coalition. They're on our team, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm done. Apple Music. I'll keep your phone.
We're going to start posting all of our podcasts only on Spotify now.
Well, hold on. I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Yeah. But you know what?
We have an app on Apple.
That's right.
We're the ones.
It's funny, though. We should have talked about this sooner. I think that is such a cool... Because you're right. That's the biggest stress.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out...
What the
You got to
heck are we
figure out
gonna
what to
eat?
make first, and then you have to go shop for it. And I complain all the time with my wife, because here, inventory is huge, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
the difference between, I mean, our cost of goods being at 45% or 35%, inventory is such a big deal. And it's like, I always kind of say that at home, like, well, you just go grocery shopping and you buy like 2 more of something that we have 6 of that you just forgot about that's in the basement. You know what I mean? And so I imagine with this, you could probably save a lot of money on groceries too, because it not only kind of takes the stress of figuring out what to make, but it's also building your grocery list.
Yeah.
And you kind of know what to buy in advance. And
So does it do all
it's
of that?
awesome.
It's like you just set up what type of meals, and then every Sunday or whatever, it's like, okay, here's the food for this week you need to buy. Is that how it works?
So you can do it that way.
Okay.
Or you could just say, like, because if you have your meal plan and you're like, well, I'm not going to cook 7 dinners this week.
Yeah.
You just select which meals you want to cook,
Okay.
and your grocery list is populated from that.
So it automatically happens.
Crap.
And
we
then
didn't talk
have,
about this very much because this is super
Well,
cool.
that's why I wanted to ask at the end, because I'm like, I have a feeling you're just a very interesting, fun person to talk to. And that's kind of what we don't want the podcast to be like a sales pitch, right, for their businesses. Like, it's more about the person behind it. But this one's really interesting, and that's the thing, is I didn't want it to end not really knowing what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm all excited about it.
Okay,
I
so
should
you
have
go
asked at the
on and you go,
beginning,
okay, I like these types of foods. You can find either someone who already has a meal plan or create your own. Then you decide, okay, I'm going to cook twice this week.
Mm-hmm.
You select those 2 meals. Grocery list automatically populates, so you know what to go buy.
Holy crap.
Recipes
and then
pop up.
and you can we have a pantry feature, so you know how you have salt, butter,
Right.
all
You
the
throw your
things.
ingredients in, and
Yeah. So then those don't populate to your grocery list. So you just have the things you actually need to buy.
Ashley, if you're listening,
How long did it take
We
you to
have
get to
figured
where
this
you're
out.
at with this? Like, has there been continual evolution?
Yes.
continuing involvedness, evolutiatory.
You need a ginger snap. Your blood sugar's low.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've been building straight for 4 years.
Yeah.
So, and I had no idea how much it takes to build like a little
Right.
teeny feature.
And so is all of this on all the stuff we're talking about, this is Prepear,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
'Cause-
So we have a desktop version and an app.
Okay.
So
And so
So it really is kind of a perfect.
compared to Super Healthy Kids, is that almost just like your one version of it? So like everything you find on Super Healthy Kids, can you find that on Prepear as well?
So basically what we did is when we built Prepear, like I don't offer meal plans on Super Healthy Kids anymore. Like
Oh, okay.
all my meal plan stuff is on Prepear.
Okay.
Just because the technology is so much
Your
better.
Ideas and info are on Super Healthy Kids, maybe.
Yeah, it's just like a blog, right? It's like
Right.
content.
Right.
So
Gives you
and there's
ideas on what to fill in.
there's recipes and everything, but it's just like a regular food blog.
Like sharing the playlist thing just sounds so cool to me. And being able to like
Just to make
highlight what
everything
meals
easy.
work. Like the kids love this one, so keep this on a permanent rotation. But yeah, like
Well, what we
more
want to
minds-
build, which we'll see if Russ lets us build in 2021, but
I thought you were the bossy one.
I know.
Come on, lay it down.
I am. I tell Russ, I'm like, I'm the CEO of our house, and you can be the CEO of our business.
Can. I love it. It's such a life thing to say.
I will let you.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. We got to play our cards right.
I agree.
But we want to build, it's called the SMART plan. So
Okay.
it basically it learns your preferences. So it would build a meal plan for you, just like Spotify music or Apple.
Right.
Like oh, we know what songs you like. Oh, we know what food
They
you
really like chicken enchiladas, so we're gonna make sure we
It's
get.
like Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
exactly like it.
But no, that's huge. Like, it would be cool. I admit, because that's one thing that's tough for a mom is you do have picky kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if there's something that surprises, right, that the kids all really liked, it'd be kind of cool to like put a star on that one. Like, keep this
Yep.
up at the top.
Have this more often.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it's really smart.
Am I seeing on here right? It's only $5 a month.
For now, but we are raising the price.
Is that
Seems
for the
like-
gold? Is
that
for
seems
access
cheap.
to everything?
So right now it's $59 a year.
Okay.
It's going to be going to $99.
Okay.
So
That's still really cheap.
Yeah, for this,
Yeah,
like
that's
the
if it
technology
does all
behind
that.
it, yeah.
So
it's
cool.
interesting though, because I'm a subscription person. Like I
Yeah.
totally don't mind paying for that because I find value in it. But there's some people who are like, I will not pay for that.
It's so funny how people are. It's like they just think that because it's on the computer, it doesn't cost money. When in reality, it costs so much
I know,
money.
right?
They're like, it didn't
To build
cost
that
me
out.
much. It's like,
Yeah.
stop thinking about
You have
Well,
no idea. Well,
and it saves
do you
you
guys
so
use
much.
Marco Polo? You Marco
Hell
Polo
no.
people?
No. No.
No.
Oh, Marco Polo
No.
sucks.
No. Are you
girls
serious?
are so weird. I don't know why you all like Marco Polo so much.
Hard pass on Marco Polo. Hard pass on
It's
FaceTime.
like because we can
phone
do it while we're
calls.
driving.
Yeah. Marco. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm like, exactly. You do get it.
It's so true though. No,
Well-
it's funny. I get asked that. My wife's like, "Will you just do Marco Polo?" No, nope, I won't.
Russ doesn't like it either.
I can't stand it.
Well, anyway. So Vlada, she's the founder. She's actually, so like when we decided to raise money, I met with her and she's like the reason kind of we decided to get all into this. But it's been so interesting to watch how they have turned profitable, or they're
Right.
not profitable yet, but like anyway, and like some people are like, oh yeah, I'll totally pay for this. And some of my friends will not. I'm like, you use this all day, every day. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
that's
It's $5
crazy.
a month.
Yeah.
But
It's
they
crazy.
don't.
It's just like your cell phone plan. Like, why do we not argue? Like, there's no difference,
Well, the
right?
same
Like
thing with-
Marco Polo or your cell phone plan. Like, you're paying for a service.
You use it more than Netflix. Like, seriously, people.
Right.
Well, there's been a push, like there's different platforms where you pay like $1 to listen to a podcast, right?
Right.
Like a monthly subscription. Like everyone's like, nope, I'm not going to do
I
it.
just think, you know what? I think everything's going to move towards that.
Oh, I agree for sure.
And I
Well,
think it should. Like,
I mean,
free internet kind of sucks in some ways.
Oh, it sucks big time. Like, I would so much rather have a dark web that you just pay for, right? Where you just, all the ads goes away, right?
Dark web.
Well, I'm just saying that's where people go to stay away from
I'm just
all
kidding.
these
Totally.
ad things.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it, but it would be kind of cool to
No,
have.
it's true. I think like DuckDuckGo is kind of going that way, right?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
like the web browser without ads and like doesn't
Yeah.
track you and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's, you should be able to have that. And I mean, that's how most services work, right? It's like if you want an ad-free experience, there's an app you use a lot and you want the pop-ups to stop, you just,
Yeah.
you pay $1 or $2 a month. And it's so easy with Apple, right? Going through the store.
Yeah.
It's easy to cancel, easy to see. So
Yep.
it is funny how some people just cannot grasp the whole,
Yeah.
like Marco Polo is a really good example
Yeah.
because if you use it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, it can't.
Does this not provide value
Yeah,
to you?
for
Okay.
sure.
Then use the free crappy version.
Prepear is awesome.
It's awesome.
Like I'm just going through because we've done like the HelloFresh before,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but that's like $100
So
a month.
Freaking
It's
expensive.
so
You know?
expensive.
And like you kind of get to choose, but not really. I mean, the nice thing is the food shows up to your house, but like,
There is a convenience factor.
for the difference of $95 a month, can you make a grocery run? And this does the exact same thing.
Well, and
Dude,
now
that's a scary question to ask your wife. Like that question right there, if you said that at home,
Well, I'll do it.
you'd be in deep poo-poo.
Well, here's the thing, because she can just, once back going to convenience, order it. I'll swing by the grocery on my way home. They'll put it in my car and I'm home.
Right. Could you import your grocery list to like Walmart? Are you guys working on
we
that?
are connected with Walmart,
Oh,
dang.
wow.
but I
So it's like-
really want to be connected with more grocery stores. Just real hard.
Really?
Anyway, but so we're totally connected with Walmart.
Okay.
How cool is that?
I know.
Was that hard?
No, because they have an open API.
Got it.
That's why. Like
Okay.
Kroger and some of the others don't.
Yeah.
And so it's way harder, but we'll get there.
Because I think groceries moving all to that, right? Like people
Well,
are going to
because you
stop
can
going to the
sign up
store.
for Walmart Plus, or
Yeah.
you guys heard of that? And then you get free delivery.
See, I don't know why grocery stores haven't just gone fully warehouse, like no public, just maximize the delivery portion of it, right? Like lay the store out like a warehouse where it's just easy to scoop things up, and it's just your drivers coming in and grabbing what they need.
I know,
filling
right?
Orders. Like I really do think grocery stores are not going to last much
Well,
longer. Like the way that they are now,
Yeah.
at least.
Although there's some of us who like to grocery shop.
Yeah. Do you know how much money
Do
we
you
could
like
save?
that? Really?
Love
It's
going to the
because
store.
they like to buy things that aren't
No,
groceries.
there's No, there's
Exactly.
a difference between grocery shopping and Target shopping.
Well, but the grocery store's in Target. Like that's why they like it.
Or
Like,
Costco.
look at Smith's.
I mean,
That's the thing, right?
you like to shop, you like to shop. It doesn't matter.
true.
And I like to pick out my own apples.
So
You-
produce that is
produce
that
is
is
for
something
sure.
that would be tough.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But it is funny how easily it is to roll a justified purchase into the groceries.
Oh,
Right?
You never stick.
And
to
they
the
say,
list.
well, they
Never.
needed it. I'm like, so you're telling me that there's no enjoyment for you in buying that thing today? Like, well, it wasn't for me. I'm like, you're so full of it. Whatever. So yeah, we could say. So we'll just go prepared. That'll save us some money, help us with the inventory issues.
There you go.
And so, very cool.
Everyone go to Prepair, but go on your Android devices that you don't have because they suck.
They don't suck. Jeez.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
This was a fun
awesome.
one.
this was fun.
So thank you.
I will
so much.
never speak negatively about this one. I promise. This one was really fun.
I'm gonna
I
listen
promise.
to every future episode.
You'll hear your name more on this episode. This has been a really cool one.
This
What
is
a great
fun.
story and such a cool product.
Yeah. So good luck with the lawsuit.
Thanks.
Jeez, negative. I don't want to talk about that to end.
We'll scratch that.
Those evil bastards. Yeah, I hope you win soon.
We will.
Oh,
For
We're
sure.
gonna win. You guys are so nice. It's really not like that big of a downer.
that's what I'm saying. She just handles it. She's just a champ. Man. Well, let's go get some barbecue.